Hi, this is Dr. J coming to you live, streaming live from Long Island, New York, where we've had an absolutely beautiful day, although tomorrow we're expecting a wintry mix. I don't like the sound of that. I didn't like the sound of stocks hitting the toilet today either, as did Apple, as did Amazon, as did almost any stock in the Nasdaq 100 and the Dow 30. Well, that's not quite true because there was some winners. And if not for the influence of Apple, which was down close to 3%, you wouldn't have had such big losses in the Dow and the S&P and the Nasdaq 100. So Apple is definitely to blame today. Of course, Dr. J has confidence, and to show that, I actually added to my position in Apple today. I did decrease my position in Amazon just a wee bit in order to cover that trade. I don't really want to come in with fresh money while the market is, let's say, having upset stomach. So when will this upset stomach feel better? When will it resolve itself? When will the acid reflux stop? Well, probably tomorrow, based on my analysis of the fib retracements in the Dow and in Amazon.com, whatever, I'll be kind. So we're going to look at these charts, and also on the S&P 500, you have a perfect stopping point of 61.8% fib retrace in all three of them, Amazon, the Dow, and the S&P 500. That may not be the case for Apple, and it may not be the case for the Nasdaq, but that's okay. They're allowed to go down a little bit more than 61.8%. There's no hard and set rule that a retrace has to be exactly a fib number. It just happens a lot. Don't ask me why. I mean, it's silly. 1 and 1 is 2, 1 and 2 is 3, 2 and 3 is 5, 3 and 5 is 8, 5 and 8 is 13, 13 and 8 is 21, 21 and 13 is 34, etc. What's so magical about these fib numbers? What's so magical about the ratio of the n+1 fib number divided by the nth fib number, or the other way around? The nth fib number divided by the n+1st, the so-called golden ratio. What's so magical about it? Got me. It just seems to happen a lot that retracements end in fib percents. Okay, in any event, do your own due diligence. I'm going to look together at the charts of the Dow, the Nasdaq, and the S&P, along with Amarin Pharmaceutical, an old friend that let us down a bit, Apple and Amazon. So do your own due diligence. Remember, my opinions are my own, do not constitute investment advice. Follow me at your own risk. And please subscribe to this video, share the link, tell your friends, write comments, give me some likes, show me some love. All right, in any event, come on. I want to share a screen. There we go. I'm going to share a screen with you guys. See that? I trust you enough to share my screen with you. And my screen has some really nice charts. Let's begin with the Dow Jones Industrial Averages. The Dow 30 was down 205.99 or 8.81%. Probably a good chunk of that is Apple, which was down about 3%. So you take away the bad performance of Apple, and you're probably left with a 100-point loss on the Dow, but you can't subtract off the big losers, can you? So it is what it is. We're at the 61.8% retrace. It says 38.2, but I drew it the wrong way. So where we stopped, the low of the day was exactly at the 61.8% retrace. And we bounced off of that nicely. So we have a little bit of a cushion before 25,928 is tested again. 25,928 is, considering we closed at 25,080, it gives us over 100 points, 100 and, I don't know, 160 points or so, maybe more. Not good at calculating in my head like I used to be. In any event, there's every reason to believe that this will be a low, that we will open higher than the low of the day and stay above the low of the day, making this what I like to call a relative low, and will turn in a higher low than the low set on 1029. So I think this will officially mark the end of the bear for the Dow, because we set a higher high back here on 11.8, higher high than the high we had on 10.17, higher than 25,810. In fact, it was 26,277. So we have a higher high. We have what probably is going to be a higher low, and to me, that's a turn in trend. So we no longer will be in a downtrend. We will officially resume the uptrend with that. The only way which would be kind of scary to me, that I would say we're still in the original downtrend and it hasn't ended, is if we continue to make new lows all the way down to the October 27th low and take that out. So if we go below 24,122 on the Dow, then hold your nose, we're going to be sinking. So that, of course, would give me that queasy, terrible sinking feeling. If that happens, I'm not going to jump off the cliff, but I'm going to be plenty depressed. I'm going to have to figure out some uppers to take. Maybe more Malomars. That's a pretty good upper. Best upper I know of, the Malomar. All right, in any event, I don't think that's going to happen. I think we get a higher low right here. I think we put in the low right here. Tomorrow should be not go lower than that low. And Dr. J will breathe a sigh of relief. I think we will retrace this entire 1, 2, 3, 4 days of hell. I think that'll be retraced. And maybe it'll take longer than 4 days, but we'll retrace it. Let's look at Amazon. Before we look at Amazon.com, let's look at the spiders. You're going to see a very similar picture as in the Dow. 61.8% retrace was hit today, just above that. So both the Dow and the S&P 500 stopped in the right place, so to speak. And therefore, I don't think we're going to take this low out either. This low being 268 and change, that gives us a 4-point leeway. I don't think that we will be hurt by that much. Okay, so we have evidence in the Dow, evidence in the S&P 500 that the sell-off has shot its load, so to speak. At least I call it evidence, but we'll have to wait to see how it actually plays out. More evidence comes from Amazon.com, which also stopped its sell-off just above the 61.8% mark. However, the candle is full, and it very well may go down a little bit more to test that 61.8% mark. So Amazon may not make a low today. It may take one more day, but that's okay. Apple, on the other hand, is in its own private correction. and it's bringing down a lot of the market. I just hope 61.8, we went past that. Whatever it is now, 64% is enough, and it decides to put in a green candle tomorrow. I'm hoping that's the case. It may, in fact, not be, because it's very full, this red candle, and it's rather easy to open up down and make another new low, in which case we have to wait yet another day to get to put in a low on Apple. Nasdaq, similar to Apple, and probably dragged down heavily and heavily influenced by Apple. The Nasdaq 100 has a picture that's not too pretty either, with a downturn from the recent high to the recent low of better than 61.8%. That's okay, though. I mean, the Nasdaq has a little room, a little cushion to put in a low here today. A lot of it depends on Apple. So as Apple goes, so does the Nasdaq 100. Let's take a look at Apple. Apple is a yucky poo. Yeah, we said Apple is a yucky poo. Let's look at Amarin. Did we have a dead cat bounce today, or was it the start of a real substantial rally back to the 20s? My opinion, probably dead cat bounce. I'd like to be wrong. But looking at this graph, I mean, it's midway between 20 and 1250, which is the high of the day on 9/24. I would say we're much more likely to hit 1250 than we are 20. In other words, 1250 before 20. And both are certainly possible. It's possible we go down as low as 1250 and then launch a tremendous rally back to the 20s. Or we might not, but this is a gap that sure looks like it wants to get filled, just looking at this graph. Okay, so Amarin longs, don't yell at Dr. J. Dr. J has a position in Amarin, so I hope that I am wrong. I hope it hits 20 long before it hits 12, and I hope it never hits 1250 again. So let's keep it short tonight, being that I did have a midday report, which I'd like you to look at. So if you don't mind, I'm going to call it a night. I know I was quick tonight, but please don't be shy about viewing my earlier video, which, although I was very optimistic and hoping for a turnaround today, called the low on the Dow pretty accurately. So that's about it for tonight. I want to say shalom. I want to remind you all to subscribe if you haven't already. I want to say sayonara. I want to say arrivederci. I want to say adios amigos. I want to say ciao. Bye all.